Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Nerd of All Trades, the podcast where a motley crew gather to discuss movie pitches, favorites, and as always, bring a high level of sophistication to the room. I'm your host, Tyler Birch, and here's the rest of the crew.
I'm the newbie Juan.
This is J. Fred, the engineer.
This is Derek.
All right, so today's episode is going to be a slice of sci-fi, one of the biggest franchises for as long as we've been alive, Terminator.
Longer than we've been alive.
That's true.
For
You're
some.
right. Yeah.
For some, yes.
Hey, watch it.
It's not that old, man.
I'm actually pretty close, though.
It's like, it's not far off. But
Closer than I'd like to be. So, as always, we start off with our pitch storm. Pitch Storm is just a quick game that we play where each player has 45 seconds to pitch a movie, stitched together by two cards with a healthy dose of random thrown in there just to make us sweat. As always, studio exec steps in when they feel they have input that's going to make the movie better, quotations. We are going to be using the creature feature and superhero deck. For this game, Juan is going to be the exec, which means that J. Fred will be the one starting.
All right, give me a sec. Let me pull up my timer real quick. My little stopwatch. Okay. You ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so we start with a foul-mouthed mercenary that has healing powers, and he's going around killing some people, almost killing other people, healing them. He's got a little side gig where he sells them a new identity, and they go and live their life. But he starts delving into forbidden magic, and he pays a terrible price for it.
Let's stop right there. What if this was all in the main character's head? Or was it? Question mark.
it was.
Okay, so what if it was all in the main character's head?
A little bit.
Or was it? Okay.
Are you ready to go again?
Yeah. So after he starts delving into this forbidden magic, he gets this client who he's supposed to kill and helps him with a new identity. And as he's trying to get everything set up, he keeps getting these weird feelings like he's forgetting something or something's happened and he doesn't know about it. And, oh, dang it, my time's up. Okay.
No, it is.
Yeah, I know. I was still trying to figure out how I was going to tie that all together, so
It's okay.
oof.
All right, on to the next one. You ready, bud?
Time to
Yeah,
split off
sure.
with creative differences.
True.
You ready to go? Yeah.
Good go. So mine is about an intergalactic team of thrill seekers. So it's going to be some aliens from another galaxy. You know, we go on road trips to across the country. They go on road trips across the galaxies.
Everybody loves those.
And so, they come to ours and they decide, hey, let's check out this little planet here, blue and green. So they come to Earth. They land at Mall of America, where it turns out the entire town and mall has been overrun by feral children. And so they're locked in this mall where they're having to, inevitably start killing off the children that are trying to eat them.
All right, let's stop right there. What if the main character started killing people and cooking them into pies?
Oh, God, it's Chicken Run.
Immediately.
So that's exactly what does end up happening. Like I said, they start killing the kids, but once the food court runs out of food, they inevitably have to start eating the dead children that are there.
All right, so what would you name this blockbuster?
Oh God, that's a tough one. Shit, I was trying to think of something that really kind of relays the real horror of having a small toddler, but I don't really know about that life, so.
But then also you have to tie in something like Corn Dog 7 to where they're eating the kids in the food court.
That's true. I don't know. We might have to brainstorm on this one later. That's a tough one. I don't have a name.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go, Tyler. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, so there's a crew in Antarctica that are stranded. They're here at part of a research station, and they have to impress their crush without revealing their secret identity.
All right, I already like where you're going. Let's make it into what's really hot right now. Let's make it into a found footage. Is that the found footage one? I gave you the right one, right? Okay, cool.
It's found footage.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah. So, as with a lot of horror movies, this movie's found footage because, unfortunately, as soon as they reveal their identity to the crush, it turns out that their crush is actually a supervillain, and they ended up in a giant interlock battle of, good versus evil, and they end up wiping each other out. You know how it is in Antarctica. There's, they fall down this hole and it freezes over, and then one day people come across the Antarctica station trying to figure out what exactly is going on, and they find a camcorder, and in that camcorder is the struggle between good and evil.
Wow, you really tied that together in a nice little bow.
Unfortunately, you went 1 second over, so disqualified.
I mean, you went like three.
Yeah,
I let you
Just
go.
because you asked me for a
Exactly.
name. My part was over before
Yeah, but
then.
I let you go three
I'm
seconds
trying to
over.
think of I still ain't got a name. I'm trying to tie this into like Dead Rising, the game, but like with killer babies instead. But
I don't know.
Kitty bites. No. Okay.
Necro Infant Rising.
just a really long name. Let's see. Who would win this one? I don't want to give it to Birch because he always wins.
Wow.
But
You always
his
win.
was clearly the best. So.
yeah, I mean, it depends on who you like the best. Like,
I'll
It's
be
be-
exact next time then. It's gonna be
Exactly.
babies about it.
Isn't there a galaxy like Osiris or something like that? I was thinking about like Oregon Trail, but like on a galactic level, because
sure.
Soylent Green,
like
but
a
with
half
more
of that.
child eating. Yeah, I say I'd have to go with Derek, just because of the pies.
Dead
I like that
babies.
little addition. I don't know, man. I saw the card and I'm like, this is 100%.
from Sweeney Todd?
Exactly,
That's
it's
what that's
100%
from, okay.
Sweeney Todd. That's why I was like,
I wasn't even thinking about it. Like,
Exactly, whenever I
totally
read it-
forgot he'd even hand me a card because I was already gonna have them eat the babies. So I was like, this card already goes into my story.
it's literally just adds to the frosting on the cake.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'd have to go with good old Derek.
the best pies in London.
But yeah, I read that card.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know
this
that
is
line of the
fucking,
song, but
this is Sweeney Todd.
really the only musical I care to watch.
So since we still
I mean,
have,
that's a good one if you're gonna pick one. You like Rent?
Never
Ever seen it? No. That's a good one too.
We're talking
Which
about
one?
the musical, or are we talking about
The
the
musical.
daily life occurrence?
I mean, the musical is much more enjoyable,
I do
in
know
my
that one.
opinion.
I don't know, dude. I always look forward to the first of the month, getting to pay that rent. Doing what I can to make sure our landlords are staying wealthy.
you said that
That's
with the
the
most
dream.
That's
straightest
very big of you.
face. You said that with the most straightest face I think I've ever seen you make. So
All right.
yeah,
So that was Pitch Storm with baby eating. Still a vast improvement to what happened last time. So glad to see that. So next we'll do the movie pitch segment. Each of these franchises has created a world filled with its own rules, ideas, and imagery. And we've taken it upon ourselves just to completely wreck everything they've done by pitching our own crazy ideas, no matter, if it fits in continuity or if it fits in the new continuity we've described. Whatever we can to, make the franchises better, pitch some cool movies. We'll see what happens. So we're going to start off with J. Fred.
All right, just a second.
come on, Jay Fred, you're supposed to be on top of these things.
Well, you
That's
know
your whole
what?
character arc.
Did you at least bring the facts?
Yes, I do have those for sure. Might want to start with somebody else. Just a second.
Damn. Would you like to go net first, Derek?
Would you?
No.
I mean, I guess I could go first.
Yeah, let's go.
Keep it a little lighthearted, coming off of Dead Babies.
Yeah, let's start with you. Let's start with the
Oh,
winner.
did you have yours ready?
I did find it, but
Okay, go for it.
So we open up on a bunch of infant
Never mind.
skulls.
Now I'm going last because of this.
yeah. So my movie pitch is basically based on Arnie becoming a good guy in the first movie. Like, instead of him dying, they reprogram him when he comes back the first time, and then he lives in that time until the next one comes back, and then basically they kind of like swap out, because by that time the one who's there is probably getting kind of worn out. I know they're supposed to be able to live 120 years, but that all depends on power consumption and all that stuff. So there were several points in time where I feel like he was compromised, I guess is the best word, to the point that if somebody had decent knowledge, they would be able to hack into a system, and probably they'd have to figure out the programming language, because it's probably a programming language that doesn't exist yet. But go and reprogram him, and then he would help teach Sarah and John the things that they need to know going forward and help protect them from any future Terminators who come in, all that fun stuff.
Question. So you're not the same one in every movie?
No.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, he usually dies at the end of the movie.
Oh.
I think he dies at the end of all of them.
The more you know. A little rainbow, you know? For those of you listening, I have not watched the Terminator movies. No.
I actually forgot that, and I was like, I think he explicitly states that in the second movie because he's like, don't you remember me? And he's like, I'm not the same Terminator.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm a model, bro. Not that kind of model. Well, also that kind of model,
Yeah.
but also Terminator model.
The T-800?
Yes. There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go. Okay, I'm learning. I know a little bit.
Definitely a model.
Okay, so you would take like kind of part of the plot of the second one and just move it to the first one?
Was?
Yeah, except instead of him being reprogrammed in the future and then sent back, he's reprogrammed while he's already back in 1984. Yeah.
I'm sure if the first one had come out in the 90s when hacking was big, that's probably what would happen.
Yeah, true. Which is also probably why the kid was a pretty decent hacker in 1991 in the second movie.
Okay, question. So that would vastly change the franchise. Would you still have Kyle Reese be killed in the first one?
Ooh, that's tough. I think so. I think that still fits pretty well. And with all the trauma that I'm sure he's gone through in the future, it would probably be a lot harder for him to accept that this Terminator was actually reformed and wasn't going to turn on him and kill him. So I think you would either have to have Kyle Reese die still, or they would have some massive fight scene that would be based on a misunderstanding at some point.
Okay. So you'd like play up Kyle Reese's paranoia?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. Yeah. Kind of like a thing paranoia where it's like, oh, like he looks like he's good, but is he really good? Like,
Yeah.
are we sure he's good? Like,
Which, I mean, I would have that paranoia personally.
yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Okay. Yeah, that would vastly change the franchise then.
Mm-hmm. I guess it would also depend on my knowledge of programming at the time. Like, if he was the one who had the information and he reprogrammed it himself, he probably would be a little bit more confident. But I don't know.
Okay. Trying to think what else there is to add.
Yeah.
So we just keep it Terminator? Is this the
Oh, yeah.
title? Yeah.
I mean, unless we were adding like an additional movie where this changes course, but I don't think that would work very well.
Time
That
travel
would
is a
have to
very
be like a separate timeline and
yeah. Time travel is a
gets-
very 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 murky mistress.
gets wibbly wobbly all the time.
I'm just imagining like a scene where like Skynet sends him back, and then all of a sudden this like super like beefed up army that's like all like enhanced and everything comes in and like starts killing all the Terminators, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he sees this old ass like T-800 that's like coming in with John, and he's just like, yeah, that's the motherfucker, kill him. And then like John's like perfectly like he like knows everything, like he's like the humans have like this huge edge, and he's just like, God, he's like, damn it, this is not how I'm supposed to go. And he's just like all pissed like,
Yep. Definitely. I agree.
oh man. Cool.
Yeah.
Going with one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. So mine would actually be a complete like rehaul and redoing of Terminator Salvation, because I feel like that was a really like cool storyline of like going into the future of like after Judgment Day, and like the future's like all desolate, and like John Connor is a lot older and Kyle Reese is there, and it basically tells the story of like why the heck we're even supposed to like root for this kid if he like what makes him so important. And I feel like
Wait, which kid?
John Connor,
Okay.
the leader of the Resistance, obviously. Have you heard of him?
Well, I was just saying because I mean it's like it's also about Kyle Reese becoming like a part of the Resistance. So
yeah, no.
And he
Yeah.
also is like an actual kid. So I was like,
That being
I
said,
wouldn't say that John Connor was the leader of the resistance, at least not in that movie.
He was after that tragic submarine blast.
That being said, I feel like that story was all over the place, and there was I'm reading it right now. There's like a whole bunch of different plot holes that I didn't realize at the time. One of them being like if they have freaking what's his name? What was the name of the freaking Terminator that they have there? The guy who thought he was a person, and then he gets like the mind stuck on him, and he turns out that he's a Terminator.
I don't remember his name.
I just watched this like day before yesterday.
Frick. Anyways, if they have him, then why the heck are they sending the T-800s after?
Because it's clearly flawed, man.
Exactly, because it's clearly flawed. It can be easily reprogrammed. All it takes is like a kid just opening his head.
The other thing is he gave his heart to John Connor at the end of the movie, so they really don't have him anymore.
I guess that's right. Yeah. Marcus Wright. That's his name. His name is Marcus Wright.
I don't think he had a model number.
He didn't. I don't think he did have a model number, but
Yeah, because we didn't even find out he was
a Terminator.
cyborg, or was he a android?
We're into this
That
debate.
one was a cyborg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
because he had
he
machine
did-
parts, but he saw like his.
He did have
organs
human
and
bodies.
stuff.
Yeah, he still
Yeah.
did have human parts, but I feel like it was just so disappointing. Just the way that the story was all over the place. I feel like they used this movie specifically to like show like, oh, look at all these like CGI effects that we can make, and look at the T-1000s just freaking snatching people up and like putting them into like containers.
That was pretty badass though.
That was a freaking badass scene. And then whenever they finally showed like a Terminator, a T-800 with a minigun, which was like whenever me and my brother saw it, we're like, oh, they're doing the thing of like the Terminator with the minigun, and I feel like that's all that movie was. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of cool scenes in that. Like, yeah, exactly. There was like a lot of cool scenes of that movie, but I feel like there wasn't a lot of real story building for what it could have been. So I don't really know exactly how I would. Because it's a lot to fix. There's like a lot of freaking plot holes in this movie.
So would you focus on like the rise of John Connor? Would you focus
Basically,
on
yeah.
Kyle Reese's journey?
Yeah, John Connor rise into the actual like leadership.
Would you keep the same cast?
I feel like I don't see anything wrong. I was looking at the cast. I don't see anything really wrong with the cast.
Personally, I thought John Connor was a great role for Christian Bale.
Yeah.
He was great match for that. Kyle Reese, though, I don't know.
Kyle Reese. Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
How dare you speak ill of the dead?
Dare you speak bad about
I don't
Superman?
see
Superman.
that kid.
He was Superman, wasn't he?
Anton
turning
Yelkin?
into-
No.
You sure?
No.
I was thinking of somebody
not
else.
that
Never
I'm
mind. I was thinking
aware,
of somebody
but
else.
I was going to say he was Chekhov in the Star Trek
Yeah, I was thinking
movies.
of somebody else.
That kid turning into the guy who went back to save Sarah Connor, that's a bit of a stretch to me.
So
Yeah.
Did you like Jai Courtney better as Kyle Reese?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot more believable, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Anton Yelkin, stiff breeze.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. And without that piece, if you're not thinking about when he went back to save Sarah Connor, it was a decent fit, I think. I think that was a likable character, worked well for the plot, but not when you tie it into the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Which is where that gets a lot harder with stuff like this.
I guess if we're talking in that sense, it would be more like right now, like remaking it. I mean, like after everything is done, in this point in time, still keep like the same cast with like Christian Bale and Sam Worthington, but then change Kyle Reese, because I'm looking at this boy. I feel like little dinky man right here can't really be Kyle Reese, the little Adonis that comes to like apparently birth the leader of the resistance. But yeah, that's how I would do it, is following the rise of John Connor.
But you still have Sam Worthington's character in there, Marcus?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would make sense. Continuing the role of like, even though Skynet is like this deadly entity of like, it sends a bunch of these robots to kill humanity, and it's trying its hardest to kill the one person that keeps like being like a thorn in its side. I feel like it makes sense to like the irony of irony, metal robots. Anyway, it ties nicely to like have that irony that in some way Skynet is still killing itself in a way, because it's all these robots that are sent to kill are still helping John Connor. So yeah, I guess that's how I would do it. Just this movie really does need to be like remade in a different way, because like on Rotten Tomatoes it has 33%, IMDb has 6.5, and Fandango has like 54%. Only 82% of people like this movie. But I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of like missed opportunities and so much that this movie could have had, because like we're seeing like Judgment, like after Judgment Day. But yeah, that would be my movie pitch, is trying to like rebuild the ashes of salvation, because I feel like that just kind of ties in a lot of stuff in the later movies of like why we're rooting for John Connor in the first place.
I have a question, and this isn't related to your pitch. I mean, it reminded me of it, and this isn't really probably the best section of the show to ask, but I'm going to forget it if I don't. So with that, Terminator comes back in time to kill John Connor because he's the one that kind of has the idea or whatever, that plan that leads to the fall of Skynet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Does he only get that idea because he experienced the Terminator in his childhood? Like, would he have been able to come up with that plan had that not happened to him? So theoretically, should Skynet have just sent like someone else to kill him and not the killer robot that he would later
Befriend. And
like
hack.
Skynet therefore like is creating its own doom because it sent this robot killer to kill him, and because it failed, like he grew up with the knowledge that there was going to be a robot uprising, and therefore knew how to take it, or figured out how to take it down.
It really just depends on what you think about time travel.
Yes, that's right.
Because
Fair.
if you see time as cyclical, then everything he does leads to John Connor becoming John Connor, who destroys him. And right before he dies, he sends another Terminator back in time to eliminate John Connor. And so it's kind of like just this loop, because he's constantly doing the same thing with the same result. And like that's where it gets a little fuzzy, just because
Time travel always fucks everything
Yeah.
up, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Time travel
so,
definitely does.
I mean, if you think about it, the first time that he decided to send the Terminator back, he had to have already been in a situation where John Connor had taken down Skynet, or it was imminent at that point. So
I guess that's fair. I see what
that
you're
first
saying.
time, it couldn't have been that.
Like the chicken and the egg.
Exactly.
But if you think about it, how would he have how would John Connor have been birthed if it wasn't for like Kyle Reese being back, and he wouldn't have thought to send Kyle Reese specifically.
Right.
So
maybe it's a different John Connor the second time, because it would have been
Terminator
Different
multiverse.
person.
That's what I'm saying.
We're dipping in a
we
multiverse.
got like
now.
time splits here now. Like, oh my god, I'm sorry I went down
two
that hole.
timelines.
Yeah. No, it's. I mean,
No split to 4.
it just really depends on what you think about time travel. But I think that if he hadn't, like, if Skynet had just done his thing, then we wouldn't have seen John Connor even be born. But because he sent him back, sent the T-800 back, and then Kyle Reese had to get sent back, and then he got the photo from John Connor because John Connor knew that was his dad, so he could send him back. So it's kind of just this like repeat.
Life's crazy.
Time travel. Time travel something.
But then you're like looking at it, and it's like in T2 and T3, these are supposed to take place after T1 in just that universe, like in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, wait. So Skynet sent this thing back, Kyle Reese is gone, and then you guys continue forward, and then you hack into another Terminator, then you
Kyle
send
Reese,
him back.
John Connor's dad.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
yeah, but he's from the future, and John Connor sent him back in time so that he could protect his mom and also be born.
It's a lot of things.
It's
Somewhere in there, there's an unfigured out plot hole that would unravel everything.
I think
I feel like that's how it always has to be with like some time loop kind of thing. It's like there's always that one factor that's unexplainable,
Yeah.
because if you try to explain it, everything falls
it would
apart.
definitely
Yeah.
be incredibly difficult for Kyle Reese to have still been John Connor's father. I guess he doesn't say how old he is in Terminator 1, does he? I mean, he looks like he's late 20s, early
Yeah.
30s, but
Kind of hard to tell in the 80s.
yeah, I mean, in order for that to have been possible, you'd have to be like mid 50s or 60s, and there's almost no way like that he could have been that old.
Oh,
Unless
they're gonna
they-
say he could have still had a kid. I was like, I don't know.
What
There
do
are
you,
people
wait,
out
no, I
there.
mean,
Like,
what do you
when
mean?
he got sent back, he would have had to have been that old for him to have been the original father as well, because when
Oh,
John
so you're
Connor was
saying-
born, he would have had to have been or when he was
Okay, so
conceived,
you're
he would have
sa-
had to have been like 16, and then going
But-
40 some odd years into the future. So
Yeah, it'd be weird.
Yeah, because Judgment Day was supposed to be in 1991. And so he was like 20 or 30, but John Connor was like older than him in the future. So, like, this is
which is
honestly
another one of the things that I was like, I don't know if that character really works. I wasn't thinking about it in that light exactly, but he just looks like there's a big age gap there. So,
Kyle Reese is the card.
yeah.
Kyle Reese is the card that you take out, that house collapses.
Pretty
Okay.
much.
I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't plan on getting a headache
Yeah.
today, but here we are.
No,
math
no.
and time travel.
Because I forgot
And I
that
started
Kyle
it.
Reese knew that he was John Connor's father when he came back in the first movie. I don't know why I didn't
Yeah,
pick up on that or remember that or whatever. But
because the picture that John Connor's mom, Sarah, takes at the end of Terminator is the one that Kyle Reese carried with him, and he had on him when he died. And he was given it by John Connor before, and like it was like I think a few years before he got sent here, and that's when he fell in love with her because he fell in love with this picture, and then like he goes back in time, and then they fall in love, they do their thing, and then John Connor's born.
I don't think he had it when he died. I think he lost it when a Terminator came into their bunker in the future, and there was like a fire somewhere and it burned. But
Did he?
yeah,
Okay.
because in the first one he said something like he had seen her in a picture or something, but he never showed her the picture.
Oh, okay. I could sworn maybe I just saw it in the bunker. It's been a while since I've seen T1, so
All these Terminator movies.
That's why I rewatched him.
yeah. But yeah, no. So Kyle Reese, you take him
He's
out.
that part.
Yeah, Skynet would win. Like
Jeez.
that's kind of why in Salvation, like it was like he was trying to kill him, but like like Skynet should have been like, I'm just gonna kill Kyle Reese. Like,
Yeah.
well, why would you send a Terminator back in time to kill the mom
When you can just,
when you
send
can just
one
kill
here.
Kyle Reese? Like, but then you also
Then he
think
wouldn't
about
go
it.
back in time, and
But then you also think about it, and it's like, but if that is already like an event that can't be changed, then doesn't that mean someone else is going to come along and become the father of John Connor? So it's kind of like,
but then he'd be a different John Connor.
Yeah, you would have different
There's
DNA and
no telling if he would have come up with the same idea. Or,
so yeah. Welcome to time travel, folks.
yeah.
Oh gosh, that was
Time travel plots.
That was a
Yeah.
freaking.
That could be a whole podcast in and of itself.
Yeah.
Dude.
That was such a freaking like number
just
crunching.
like the general concept, and then getting into specific
Like
movies. is-
examples. Yeah.
Yucky.
That would be pretty cool, and
It would.
also like blow my brain out. So
I was
In
like,
a
I
good
smell
way.
bonus episode.
yeah. So if you want to listen to us talk about time travel and all the different movies, let us know.
Right.
'Cause I'm willing to do it, but we don't got the time for that right now.
Same.
Yeah. All right. So anything else for your pitch?
No, that's about it. They need to remake Salvation because that movie had a lot of potential, but it was a lot of dog poop.
I'm
I mean,
kinda surprised
you
you
watch
picked
your
to
mouth.
remake Salvation instead of Genisys, but
I'd rather make Salvation because I feel like there was 'cause-
Salvation had the most potential.
Yeah, Salvation had the most potential exactly because you see it after Judgment Day, but
Yeah.
that's
I was just thinking Genisys was a train wreck, and
Yeah.
I've heard.
No, and
Yeah.
it totally is. But like, I feel like even
But-
the concept of Genesis wasn't good.
Mhm.
At least with Salvation on paper, you're like, hell yeah, I'm down for this.
That's
Like,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I still enjoyed
I
Salvation,
thought
but
the
yeah,
movie
no,
was
it was.
alright, but-
I
it
still
was-
enjoy it too.
yeah.
It still
Yeah.
had its problems. So
Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, so my movie pitch would be, I mean, I kind of want to see. This is playing off of Dark Fate. I want to see that Arnold's life. So if you're not familiar with Terminator Dark Fate, came out last year. It totally threw away all of the history by 3, Salvation, Genesis, all that, all gone. It takes place right after T2. Well, the beginning takes place right after T2. You see John Connor living it up in some random tiki hut in Mexico, and you literally like you see this T-800 come up and just gun him down, and he dies, and John Connor's dead.
Just like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, they were immediately like everything you've seen before doesn't count anymore.
Literally just
So you
blasted.
remember when I said I don't think I've seen Dark Fate? I am now certain I have not seen it.
Yeah, it was
So spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched the new one.
I mean, that's like the first beginning of the
Yeah.
movie.
It was very divisive. Some people were like, "How could you kill, the savior of humanity?" And other people were like, "This was a bold move." I'm a person who thinks that it was a bold move. I liked it, just because it really those movies that came after it were not of the quality that 1 and 2 were on. So I'm not really like I like them, but like I'm not upset they're gone.
Mhm.
And it was just like, it was like, holy shit, they just did that. Like,
They
So
just
how
fucking
old
killed
was
John
John Connor at that point?
it was right after T2, so he was like 7.
Okay.
Or well, I guess
Oh.
I think he was like
I guess
13.
yeah, I
or
guess
something.
13
Yeah.
because all of the yearly
Riding a dirt
timeline
bike
doesn't make
around.
sense. But
Well, now there's
uh,
2 timelines
yeah.
apparently. So
so I guess he was about 13. And no, like he's dead, and so Sarah Connor lives the rest of her life killing Terminators, and it turns out
is this the one where she's like an older woman?
yeah.
Oh,
she
okay.
is.
I remember the trailers and everything for it.
So
now.
yeah, it takes place in today's world. So she, has been Sarah Connor killing Terminators for like 20 years, and it turns out that the T-800 that killed John Connor, he went on to live a life. Like he actually like met a woman and like married her and like is
like learned how to be human.
yeah he learned how to be
shit.
human. He was like this like
It's an
super
interesting twist. Like you'd think this would just be like a pitch, but like this is an actual movie.
yeah no and like you see him and like he's older because his biological parts age, and like he's the one, it turns out. So throughout time after T2 up until this point, you actually find out that he's the one that was texting Sarah Connor all these coordinates of where Terminators were coming in. So that's how she was killing Terminators. She'd get these texts from some random person. She'd go there. The bubble would show up, from them time traveling, and she'd put them down. And it turns out that it was him the entire time telling her. And, like, he had learned how to be, like, remorseful and everything. So I want to kind of focus on him during that time, because I think it's really interesting that he learned how to be human, and he started to like realize like we need to like take down the Terminators like without any outside interference. Like he was just living his life, and
Synths.
so I would imagine like him, probably going and killing Terminators himself, like, and just kind of like learning how to be human. He can meet this woman that he meets, that he's living with, that he's married to, meeting her and her kid, and just kind of like a story of how a Terminator was able to become human. And, I'm sure Skynet wasn't happy about that. So, or Legion or whoever it was.
Whoever the heck it was in that movie.
But so seeing like his growth, seeing him take down Terminators, like, because I don't know. I just think it's really interesting how he transitioned from stone cold killing machine that just killed a 13-year-old to a family man that's beloved by the community, and he's also helping Sarah Connor kill Terminators. Like,
Terminators have kids.
I don't think he had kids. I think
I'm just saying, like,
So,
they?
I
think
don't-
that's been addressed.
I think the lady
feel like
already already had children.
yeah, so I think
Well,
if I remember correctly, they addressed it in Dark Fate because Sarah was like, "What? So you have a kid?" And he was like, "No, like he's like, even though I look biological, like I'm not biological."
Oh,
He's
okay,
like,
okay.
"She already had the child when I met her, so when she got married, like when we married, she became my child, but she's not of me." So
So no sex cells.
yeah,
Got it.
so
No.
but yeah, no, I think a movie just going through the years, seeing him just growing from Terminator to Family Man, fighting other Terminators. I mean, because I love the Terminator on Terminator fights. They're always
That's fair.
they're always badass. Like,
That was one thing Salvation did have. That I enjoyed.
yeah. So seeing like that's always really cool. Kind of seeing him also kind of like not mess with Sarah Connor, but like him messaging her and like she has no idea who it is, and he's just like laughing to himself.
He's
He's
just
like, he's like, I know that if she knew it was me, she'd try to kill me, but she doesn't. So she's out there killing Terminators for me. But yeah, so just seeing like his growth, seeing him fight other Terminators, kind of seeing also just like how his knowledge of the future, like how like that plays out, how much of it like he already knows and how much of it's changed because of him turning the timeline because he killed John Connor and Judgment Day was averted.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
Seeing the whole new timeline and how and if obviously I guess Skynet still does rise because of they're sending Terminators back, but
So it's not Skynet, it's a different AI named Legion, and that's
Oh,
the
you
part,
said that.
That's the part of Dark Fate I don't like.
Is that Skynet still a thing?
Because it's just a different AI doing the same things.
I mean, could have been a different person who
Cooler
created
name.
it at that point. Then they came up with a different name.
Yeah,
So
wait a
I would
second.
guess that's the angle they were going for.
but they don't explain it. That was like my one.
Massive.
Yeah.
That was my one
Robots
grievance.
named
Was I was
Legion.
like, so tell me more about Legion because it's got cooler Terminators, but you're like not telling me anything other than you're pretty much saying it's Skynet 2.0. Like I don't.
Yeah, it's
So-
Skynet on steroids is what it is.
I mean, in my mind, again, haven't seen the movie, but the way I imagine that would play out is because John Connor died, something happened that affected the life of the person who developed Skynet, and then he was at, we'll say, DoD contractor A, and then somebody at DoD contractor B was working on something at the same time and didn't have that impact, and then a little while later they developed their Legion as opposed to Skynet, and then brought it to the Department of Defense and said, hey, look at this, buy our program, and then they did. So it was inevitable it was going to happen, just depends on who got there first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that should have been shown instead of like, yeah, it's Legion now. And these guys got like, because like the Terminators in that one, they have like, what was it? It was like liquid metal and they can like separate. And then you have a liquid metal Terminator and like a solid exoskeleton. And then it comes back together. I was like, it never explains how the heck Legion even comes to rise and why they have much cooler Terminators.
Yeah. And you could just say that technology was later because it was like, 25 years later. But yeah, there was a lot of questions about Legion that I wish they had answered. But, they didn't really tell us that much about Skynet for a long time. So
True.
I guess it's just how they do things. But yeah, so just Schwarzenegger through the years, fighting Terminators, trying to do good, trying to learn how to be human. I think that would just be
Suburban Dad
interesting.
Terminator.
I'd probably do like I'd probably throw in like a hallucination of John Connor that kind of follows him, and that's kind of what prods him into being better because it weighs on him that he killed him, and then
he develops like that human aspect of like, dang, I just killed a kid.
yeah, he's like, maybe that wasn't okay. Maybe my robotic overlords are wrong.
Is this empathy I feel? What is this? Remorse? It's got to be something.
But yeah, so that's my pitch. Derek, what you got for us?
So mine's gonna take this in a very different direction. I want to go ahead and put a disclaimer out there. This does not reflect. This is fictitious. Does not reflect any real life people or entities. So we're gonna open up into the year, maybe 2025. We can go 2025 or 2030. And Apple has its new product, the i5EX. You can go ahead and write that down if you need to know. And our main character, John Connor, very different type of character. He's pretty much a nobody, kind of working dead-end job, doesn't really have a place in this world. Turns out he's the long-lost son of Bill Gates. And encrypted into his mind is the key to bringing down Apple. And so the i5EX, a sex toy made for gentlemen, turns out they're androids, like those realistic sex dolls. Yeah, these are basically kind of alive like an android, and he ends up falling for one, but all the other ones on the market are seeking to destroy him to keep Apple from falling. They're Apple overlords, as they're known by that time, basically, because we all know, like, Apple, kind of has that power in the world over the next 5-10 years, who knows. And so, yeah, I mean, it's mainly like all of these like female sex robots trying to come and eliminate him. And obviously he fell for the one that he, quote unquote, bonded with. I'm going to leave that in quotes. And she's trying to protect them and this and that. And he wants to take them down, obviously just because he kind of wants to survive. But, maybe he learns a little shady stuff about Apple if it's there. Maybe not. I don't know. Not for me to discuss. I mean, that's the gist of the movie. I don't have a whole lot of details there. I mean, there was a lot of details, but not a lot. And then post-credit scene after they do stop all those, except for obviously, he gets to be with the one he loves or whatever. She's the one that stays alive for whatever reason. Maybe he turns out he's a hacker. I don't know. But the post-credit scene, Apple unveils a dude version of the robot now. It's just one. It's just a prototype. And, on the second one, we can see what happens with that. I don't know.
I just want to point out that I am not the one who brought us this new enemy to the podcast.
Yep. Cool.
If anything, I just gave them a brilliant idea. So, I mean, the i5EX is pretty good. Okay. And this would be called Terminator X, of course.
Terminator X.
I like it.
Naturally.
Jeez.
Yeah. And if we wanted that dude one in the post-credit scene, could be Arnold. Well, he's CGI Arnold
They
Schwarzenegger.
CGI'd him like 6 times in Terminator anyway, so
No,
they're getting
yeah.
used to it.
CGI Arnold Schwarzenegger there.
Which one's your favorite CGI, Arnie?
And clearly he's going to go fuck, this dude's girl now.
That's what it is.
Gotta.
What's yours?
Honestly, a part of me wanted to do like a comedy where it was like all these different AIs kept sending like their versions of Terminators back in time, and so there's like all these just random like machines that like show up and they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" "Oh, I'm the RX-9. My Legion Overlord sent me here to kill John Connor."
And some of them are just really
I'm
abstract. and random.
T-800 from Skynet, and I'm also supposed to kill John Connor. "Oh, that's weird. I'm from Apple. And they sent me here to kill John Connor." Like, I don't like.
It's like a Terminator that falls down and it's like RGB with a bunch of like razor stickers on it.
Like Terminator Wars and shit. They're all having a fight to who's going to kill John Connor.
Like, you remember the Family Guy where Stewie and Brian kept going back in time, and there was
Yeah.
all of
They
them.
were all of
They were
them.
all out there. Like, that's what I'm imagining. Like, John Connor just like chilling in his house, and outside there's all these Terminators. Like,
Coming out.
wait a minute. So if I kill him, you rise, but if you kill him, they rise. What the fuck are we gonna do here? And like, they're just like fucking like freaking out and like all like trying to fight each other and stuff. Like,
Yes.
Sounds
I
like this
it.
is quickly turning into the Fortnite of Terminators here. With John
Battle
Connor as the
Royale,
prize.
yeah.
They're all just battle royaling for who gets to kill John
And,
Connor.
like there's some of them that like the vocal stuff is really terrible, but they have way better weapons, and then others that are kind of skimpy on that, but you can't even tell they're
One of
One-
them.
human.
One looks like a fucking Gundam, and then you have
Yeah.
one that's like
a
a Roomba with
Yes.
a gun.
Yeah.
I was thinking Roomba.
And it turns out the Roomba one's a powerful one.
Yeah.
Like this tiny micro laser that just fucking destroys anything.
like the little Men in Black cricket.
Yeah. I could see that. That would be bonkers. Like, if
Like,
there was,
like, there's the one that wins, and he's like this big menacing one, and as he's walking up to John Connor, the Roomba scoots forward and just like saves John Connor's ass.
oh, you
It's
thought the
like,
last? Oh, you thought you were the last one?
Ha 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 ha! I win! I win!
And then he just walks over there and just like hits the off switch on it, and it just no.
Oh.
And then you see one in the background, and it's like, "All right, I'm ready to fight." And it's like, "Shut up, Internet Explorer 9."
It's like a month
Aw.
later.
It's like, is this one frozen? Is it dead? I don't understand. All right, so we rumbling? It's like, dude, that was like last month. They all lost. Like, our Roomba overlords are now here. Like, what are you
Like,
gonna
as
do?
the battle's ending, you just hear that dial-up tone, and then he just pops up right there like the Diaz cell.
Yes, I love
I'm ready to rumble.
Instead of like coming in and like the bubble, he's like faxing himself through like very very slowly.
Pixelated one by
He's
one.
like, don't
Peels
worry,
off,
guys.
like-
I'll be there in 5 minutes, 3 hours, 2 seconds, 4 days.
Throughout the movie, it keeps cutting back to him, just like slowly pixeling into our world.
And like, it's like his head's the first, and so he's just talking shit the entire time. When I get off this paper, I swear to God, you all are gonna regret it. Like, I see it. It's a
At the
robot
end,
chicken
he
special
ta-
right there.
Yeah.
He takes a
Heck
step
yeah.
and it just goes buffering. As a little wheel.
Oh my God. Honestly, it's like the Anchorman fight. That's what that is. Like, all the anchor people like fighting it out. That's them all. Like, it's like all these like people just riffing on different concepts of like different time periods. Like,
Yep. I like it.
yeah.
Each one can be sponsored by a different tech company.
The fucking AOL one has a phone on it, and you take it off and it turns off.
Yes.
No, dude, you got the. It's like, please insert floppy one
Oh,
of 9.
yucky! Oh, yucky! That would be a
Yes.
really funny one. That's a little comedy sketch right there.
Yeah, I like it. Cool. Well, that's our movie pitches one. A little freebie in there. That was just for fun, just kind of riffing on the Terminator universe a little bit. So yeah. All right, now that we've talked about our movie pitches, the good and the bad, here's where we talk about our favorite movies, characters, endings, or we take the time to rage, which is also equally as possible, just because with love inevitably comes hate. So
We are who we are.
yeah, and we hate what we hate.
True.
So
Like all of
Passionately
you.
Sometimes.
like all of you.
Fuck Disney.
Fuck Disney. We love
Only
you guys.
for their Star
Keep
Wars,
listening.
I like Disney other than that.
Good distinction. It's 7 episodes too late.
Right? I'm gonna fight you over some Bug's Life if you don't watch it.
Oh, I love that movie. That was-
surprisingly low on a lot of people's lists of favorites, and I was like, how could you not like Bugs Life? Like,
That was the first movie I ever got on DVD.
Movie
Who
is
the hell
quite old though. To be fair,
Who the hell's not
maybe
liking
they just
Bugs
don't
Life?
know it.
I don't know, dude. Like, I was literally reading an article earlier. It was like best to worst on Pixar, and Bugs Life was in like
Let me guess. They put fucking Cars up there at the top too, didn't they?
Cars was definitely above
Good
Bugs
God.
Life. I don't think it was. It was not the top. It was like I think like 8th or 9th.
Well, I mean, Coco's top.
I think it was
Not
7th.
debatable. What the fuck?
Dude, yeah. I mean, I was.
Ow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for that side track.
Yeah. So favorite movies. J. Fred's gonna kick it off for us.
So I think I have to go with T2 for overall favorite.
Dun 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 dun.
Yes. I feel like that's where a lot of the foundation for the rest of the franchise comes in. Not the least of which is the fact that the Terminator is now a good guy, but also you get to see not only John Connor kind of being forced to be independent and learn how to do his own stuff, but you see all of the trauma that he had gone through over the last, what was it? Well, they said it was more than 10 years, I think, in the movie. But he went through a whole lot of crap because of his mom's paranoia of this future that she knew, or I guess was convinced was going to happen. And that kind of caused him to develop, I think, the resilience that helped him throughout the resistance. Typically, that's how you develop that resilience, is go through a whole bunch of shit and come out the other side. So without that basis, I don't know that he would have been the person that eventually took down Skynet. Although then we get into the conversation of him doing it the first time without that happening and the whole time loop thing.
Please refer back to a half hour ago.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that happens in that movie is foundational to the remainder of the franchise.
Had a pretty good soundtrack too.
Yeah, Terminator has great music,
Yeah.
definitely. What do you think of the ending, mirroring the ending of the first one, but he does a thumbs up instead?
I think it was a decent callback. So first of all, I do have issues with the fact that in the Foundry, they decided, first of all, that he was going to stand on the hook and lower the hook into the molten metal, which probably either ruined the chain in the hook or caused a whole bunch of other stuff have to be done for them to be used again. He could have just as easily grabbed the hook with his hand and hung from it and then just dipped him in the molten metal. But I don't know. That's just me being weird and thinking about the people who have to deal with that crap the next day.
Yeah, we want the cinematic effect. Okay, we don't care about the people behind the scenes.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What do you think of the characterization of John Connor in that one?
That's kind of a difficult question because I do appreciate the way that they portrayed the childhood of the person who would grow up to be the savior of mankind and quote unquote leader of the resistance. But I didn't really like him. Like, I don't know. He was very angry, which was understandable, obviously, all the crap he'd been through. He just seemed like a different person, but I could see that being the childhood version of the John Connor we know and love from, I would say, from Salvation onward, or even the end of T3, really. Beginning of T3, he was not.
I did
really-
not like that John Connor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kind of exclude that like I do Kyle Reese from Salvation.
Okay. What do you think of like the surrogate father thing that was going on?
I think it was important.
Yeah.
I think that could have marked the beginning of like a personal healing process for him. I don't know that it actually went that way based on what we saw in T3, but at the very least, it was a bright spot in his life that maybe helped him realize that not everything was shitty like it had been before and would be after for 10 years or however long it was. I guess it wasn't quite 10 years between T2 and T3. It might have been, though.
I'm not really sure in universe how long that was.
Yeah.
Because I know between release dates it was like 12 years, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Last question. What do you think of the meme where they always do like something in the first panel and then the second panel is them in the phone booth and Arnold being like, your foster parents are dead? Because he like asked them like some random question.
Yeah. I like it. I'm in favor.
I love it. They're always like, I think that Jared Leto's Joker is the best. Yeah, sweetie, I think so. Your foster parents are dead.
Yep. That was a pretty brilliant move, though. What's your dog's name? Ask him a different name. Oh, yeah. Spot's fine.
Totally.
Your foster parents are dead.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. It was like, well, they're fucking gone. Like, yeah. Yeah, no, I think T2 is a really good one. And the liquid metal Terminator was so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the effects
Concept was just awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
Is that feasible, Mr.
Liquid
Engineer?
metal?
To like turn to that liquidy state on command, then turn right back, and only part of your body and not the entire thing. And
Can we just enjoy things without applying engineering?
that's it. Look, that's gonna be his moniker. He's
That's
gonna
not what people come to for this.
I don't think that is currently within the realm of possibilities, but there are things that make me think it could be possible eventually, because we do have certain, I don't think they're technically liquids. I think they're more of a slurry. It's like a liquid with some solid in it that when you pass electric currents through it, they align in such a way that they become more solid. I don't think there are metals like that at the moment, but we come up with new interesting metals with crazy properties every day, sometimes directional properties and weird stuff. So I don't think it's currently possible, but I wouldn't put it outside the realm of possibilities at some point.
okay.
Would some point be 2029?
I would say, would it be within the realm that, like, in the time frame that this movie's supposed to be, like, from the future? Because how long is it? Like, what?
We're getting into classified territory, so
Oh, I won't even reference anything from that. So
How many years is it though? Like that,
What?
like Schwarzenegger and like the Terminators are supposed to be from.
2029.
It's 2029.
Yeah, that's when Kyle Reese comes back. Is
Oh,
from
okay.
2029.
I wonder if that's why you said 2029.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I said it. I was trying to make a meme. It didn't pass through.
this is the reason I have extra questions.
Oh, am I asking the ones that you
I didn't
No,
asked?
that one was one.
oh
Okay.
fuck, I would have gotten that one wrong. I don't remember. So
Dude, Juan has a shot at winning this one, boys.
that's true. Yeah. Cool. So Juan, what's your favorite one?
Well, I was gonna say T2 because I like the liquid metal Terminator and I like that whole like story arc, especially when they're walking down the hallway. And he's like, "Oh, it's you!" And he has like the roses, and he pulls out the
Yeah.
fucking
Such a
shotgun,
good scene,
and like it's all
yeah.
in slow motion. It's so cool. That whole
And you're
scene,
like, he's
and
gonna kill John Connor.
yeah. But that's already been
Get
Up-
down.
that's already been up and taken.
I mean, you can still say T2, especially if you have different things that you like about it.
No,
Like,
I mean
like, no,
they
it's
were
all
they
the
were
same
basi-
stuff.
they were basically the same thing, yeah. Especially like the logo Terminator and like all the CGI effects of like how he passes through the actual gate. He's like he closes the what's it called what was it?
cell door, the
What was it? Where was Sarah Connor? Was it an insane
Psych ward?
asylum or was it just psych ward? 'Cause it's the 80s.
Probably an asylum.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
80s. Was it considered an asylum or a psych ward?
I feel like asylums are more from the 80s than they are.
Exactly.
It's
Anyways,
like-
let's say psych ward. The guy just like
The loony
closes
bin.
the door on the police officer coming in, and the police officer just like and passes through. I thought that was pretty cool. But
I also really liked pulling that same doctor into T3.
Mm.
And he's like, it'll take a lot of therapy to get over it. A lot. But you will. And then he turns and sees Arnie, and he's like, oh, shit. And turns and runs the other way. It was real. It was real.
But yeah, there's like a lot of iconic scenes from T2. But I'd have to go with OG, the Terminator, just because like that's where it starts off.
That's fair.
I could be wrong, but I think that's where the like "I'll be back" thing comes from, and like comes back and like slams to the like actual bank in a car.
It's actually where cool party comes from.
Yeah, I forget the quips in the Terminator. But it starts off.
Yeah, I'll be back is in that one.
It starts off with him like coming in and he's like naked and like the most like 80s person, like people come up to him with like the most like weird wacky hair and he's like, I need your clothes, and they just like look at him. He's this muscular man that's just all naked. But I definitely like the original Terminator because it follows again OG Kyle Reese, and it ends like in like a literal ball of fire where Kyle Reese kills himself after obviously conceiving John Connor, the little baby boy, and then him having to die and killing the T-800. But I really enjoyed that one just because like all the movies that I really enjoy always traumatize me, and I don't know why fucking Terminator traumatized me, but it's just like, oh my god, 2029, we're all gonna die. I'm still gonna be alive. I'm only gonna be 29 years old. It's like, oh my god. But like I liked all the things in that movie. Whole like.
So you're assuming you'll survive Judgment Day?
I'm not saying that. We're not saying all that.
You said that you'll be alive in 2029, and that's
when it happens. But then like after that, who knows if I get wiped out?
So you mentioned Arnie's entrance in the original Terminator. Do you like that better than in T2?
No, T2 definitely looks a lot better. T2, like I feel like the graphics and like the whole like computer generated stuff.
Give me your clothes,
definitely
your
got better.
boots, and your motorcycle.
I love that one. I love that scene where he like sticks him with the cigar on his chest,
and then gets worried because he's not reacting.
He's not reacting. He's like fucking beating people up, and he grabs him, fucking tosses him into like a hot like grill.
On the grill,
yeah. But yeah, there's so many like cool quips in T2, but I feel like T1 really grounded like these are the people that we're rooting for, and like again, like Terminator is known for like throwing 180s from like killing John Connor to like making the T-800 a good guy. So I feel like that grounds it at first, and then T2 leads in with like better stuff. But I would have to go with that first one, and then the ending with like them dying in a ball of fire. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out in 1985. Kyle Reese and the T-800 died to like a pipe bomb that Kyle Reese sets up to kill him, obviously. So yeah, I feel like it starts it and it wraps it up in a nice little bow.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, that would be my favorite movie. Any questions that you got for me, Birch?
By the way, so the storyline for T3 just says more than 10 years after Terminator 2. So
100 years after Terminator 2.
Solid.
He's been moisturizing. That's why he looks so good.
So we know your major wasn't math-based or science-based. That's cool.
I am really glad that they retconned T3 and Salvation when they killed John Connor, because like those aren't really good movies. But yeah. Like I said, like Terminator is known for 180s, so like killing John Connor, and we're like, oh hey, it's you again, fucking blast him with a shotgun. Yeah,
dude, it was kind of traumatizing because like he's at the bar,
he's just like chilling.
Sarah Connor just like, dude, and she sees him, and it's just like slow mo as he just like, you know, the part where he does the roses, it's kind of like mirroring that part.
It is,
but instead he actually killed John Connor.
That sucks.
Yeah, but no, I don't have any questions because I was gonna say the original Terminator. So
you bitch. Everybody's taking
gonna name all the things that he said.
Oh no, I'm still gonna go into other stuff. Yeah,
okay,
no,
cool. All right.
Yeah, actually, I watched like a recap video before we did this, and it kind of like made me realize why I enjoy Terminator, because I do I love T2 as well. It has a lot of really great aspects to it. The things I like about the first Terminator is like, I like the feeling of like, because going forward where Arnold is like a good guy, the stakes feel lower in a way. I mean, I know T-1000 was scary, but like it just felt like it was like, we have someone on our side now. Like, but in Terminator, like I loved, and like he specifically stated in this video that Arnold's like T-800, he was kind of like Michael Myers, and like he didn't ever rush. He just did his thing. Like he was the ultimate killing machine, and like that was chilling. And like I love that. Like I love how intense it felt because it was this like normal human guy. Like he wasn't something special. Like Kyle Reese was just this normal dude. I mean, yeah, he had training from,
In the future.
but like he didn't have any enhancements. Like he was just this dude that got sent back in time that has to protect his woman. And like the Terminator had everything. I mean, he was practically impossible to kill. He easily got weapons. Like he was able to like use different voices. Like he pretty much just killed whoever he wanted to. Like it was just like unstoppable machine that they had to stop. And it just felt like it was just like really desperate the entire time. Like you're like, this is it. And like you're learning more about this world that's like going to take place in the future. And can you imagine the weight of being told that you're going to like, that your kid's going to be the one that saves humanity? Like
that, and being told your whole life that you are going to grow up to be the one to save humanity. Like that's also insane. But yeah, I can see both of those being crazy. I guess I was going to say I would expect Sarah to be able to deal with it a little bit better, but not necessarily.
She didn't, because she did go to the psych ward because of it.
yeah, I think she's got more like issues than John does.
And I mean,
Granted,
especially in the mid 80s, adults were not very good at dealing with mental health related issues. I mean, for a large part of the population, I'd say that still hasn't gotten much better, but there's at least a bigger percentage of the population that are aware of it now.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. And yeah, just learning more about that world, and John Connor, learning that like Kyle Reese was like sent back in time to pretty much be the father of John Connor, like sent by John Connor. You're just like, what in the world? Like,
What is happening?
So, and I like,
Kyle, I need you to go bone my mom.
I know it's going to sound odd, but if you don't have sex with her, I'm not going to exist.
He's like already in the time machine. He's like, did you say something?
So like, and we get the first views of that world, and especially in the 80s, they did a good job of making that post-apocalyptic world seem so menacing, like super sci-fi, which I feel like we kind of like, especially like in Salvation, when we get to that time, it didn't feel as sci-fi.
Exactly. It didn't feel correct.
So you get to like this great view. I mean, great view is a strong word for the view of the post-apocalyptic world, but like learning all about this, seeing their desperate struggle, seeing Kyle Reese die, and like just seeing, I think one of my favorite parts of Terminator isn't so much John Connor, it's Sarah Connor. I've loved her evolution. I mean, she went from, I think she was a waitress in T1, and like seeing,
There's another question.
Oh, wow, shit.
and seeing like her evolution from like this really like lost in the world, not sure what to do, just working a minimum wage job to pay the bills, to like finding this purpose and finding like all this, finding the strength, and this strength that carries through to T2. It's what we see in Dark Fate. We always talk about how strong like Princess Leia is, like Jamie Lee Curtis's character in Halloween, and I would put Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor up there because she like her characterization after this is like leaps and bounds from where she starts, and like she becomes this military mind. Like she is living like off the grid. Like she's pretty much like she kills Terminators in her spare time in Dark Fate. So it's like, and this is all the evolution of that, and seeing like the desperate struggle to kill the Terminator in the end, because it wasn't like a oh yeah, he's dead, we're good, we're free. Like it was barely like she crushed him, and like you're like, okay, this is over. And then that arm comes in T2, and that's what Cyberdyne used to create Skynet. And so you're like, so it wasn't over, and like
It was never over.
It was just, I don't know. I just really enjoyed the characterization. I liked, because I do like Arnie as a good guy, but I also just liked how this Terminator was this unstoppable killing machine, and it just kept coming, and it just kept coming, and it cost them so much just to destroy this one. Like if he had sent 3, like they would have been dead.
It would have been over.
So, and he's just so menacing, and I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is really good at doing that menacing Terminator. And yeah, I mean the quotes, I'll be back, and like he like I'm pretty sure he like just like destroys that police station like,
Yeah.
to get to Kyle Reese. And you're just like, this dude can't be stopped by anything that we know in this world. Like, So I really enjoyed the intensity. I enjoyed like that almost futility. Like if I was in that situation and you're just seeing this machine that can't be stopped by the weapons you have in this world, like it'd be like, well, you know what? It's over.
Fuck it. Whatever I was
So-
supposed to do ain't happening no more.
I guess this is how I die.
Yeah. So that's why T1 for me is special. Like I love T2 as well, but there's just something that was really great about T1 that I just really enjoyed. So, all right, Derek.
With you mentioned like the Halloween and Jamie Lee Curtis. So is in Dark Fates, is it the same actress that played the original
Yes,
Sarah
yeah.
Connor from the first two?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
No, I actually, I thought it was really cool that we got General Leia, Sarah Connor, and Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and they're all overcome their trauma to become these badasses, and like the rise, like these female heroes are now empowered, and like they're the ones saving people, and like I thought that was really cool that we've been getting that in the past couple of years.
General Leia is an argument there, but okay.
General Leia was
Leia.
not used very well. But
Yeah, she was
I
not.
was like,
but
she had the potential for that, but we didn't really see
Yeah.
much.
no,
happen
yeah,
there.
that's what was
Except
more
for the Mary
disappointing.
Poppins scene, obviously. Like,
But like, I mean, she was commanding the entire resistance.
no, yeah, she was definitely
So,
a strong leader.
yeah.
Like we saw her rise up that way. So
I mean, yeah, we could definitely have seen more, but like just seeing like all those people that were different kinds of heroes in the 70s and 80s
basically, like
evolved.
they were
yeah.
basically the victims of the stories. Like, well, maybe not Leia. In Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis kind of was like she
Yeah.
fought back, like. But in this one, like it's almost like she's bringing the fight to him, kind of like with the Sarah Connor, like
Yeah.
bringing the fight to them now, like I guess taking it back,
Yeah, so
taking it into their own hands.
I thought that was really cool, and that's something that we got in the past couple of years. So it was kind of nice. If you're going to return to a role after all that time, I think it should be in advanced form, and I think that's what they did, and that's kind of why I do enjoy Dark Fate, even though like it didn't do that well like box office. It had some cool stuff in it, and that was one of them was
Definitely
for sure Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dark Fate definitely had like cool stuff in it, like the new freaking Terminators, how they could like split up together. That was the coolest thing.
Yeah. All right, Derek, what's your favorite? Even though you've only seen one.
Shoot.
I've only seen one Terminator movie, and to be honest, I don't remember most of it. I remember seeing it because Salvation has Sam Worthington, and I saw this movie late, so like I had seen him in Clash of the Titans, and I was like, oh, he was in that. It's playing on TV. Like, I'll watch it. And so I watched it, and I was like, oh, Christian Bale's in this. Like, shit, okay, like man crush right there. So I was like, let's watch this. Can't be that bad. And it was okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not big on the Terminator movies. Like, this is not my franchise.
After us talking about it, though, are you a little bit more interested in it?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some that I would watch. Like, I mean, y'all did not sell me on Genisys.
I wasn't trying to tell you.
You weren't trying to sell you.
Honestly,
Trying
y'all,
to warn you.
y'all didn't sell me on T3.
Better than Genesis, but
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
not crazy
honestly, of
about
all
it.
the ones y'all have explained, like to me, Dark Fate sounds like the one I should watch. Like,
Dark
Yeah.
Fate was pretty
even
cool.
though I didn't really
Yeah,
see one or two, like I've tried to watch the first one and I just can't sit through.
could
it. I don't
probably
know
Having
why.
not seen Dark Fate, but seen trailers and all that stuff, I think you need to watch the first one and the second one, and then probably maybe rewatch Salvation and then Dark Fate. I mean, I guess that's not super important, the order there, if you
Yeah,
aren't too interested in.
since Salvation, Skynet, and all that stuff, like it's cool to see, but like it's not really
Yeah.
a part of this new timeline. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could watch that one again.
Dark
Like
Fate is after 2, right?
once again,
Yeah.
Sam Worthington,
Yeah.
Christian
So-
Bale could watch that one again. But
yeah, and you could probably watch Dark Fate without seeing the first two.
just know the gist of what happened.
Yeah, as long as
Basically,
you
yeah.
understand the T800 and you understand the Connors, that's really all you need to know.
Okay, I got that from that like review video. That I
yeah.
watched, so
So as long as you know that stuff, you could probably get through, because since it's a whole new AI and it's all new kind of Terminator and it's all new kind of human protagonists, like
and it's modern day. Y'all know I don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
movies from the 80s.
I know.
Really.
So, but yeah, so
Fair
I
enough.
think you could watch. You could definitely watch Dark Fate. You do miss out on some of the stuff if you don't watch T1 and T2, but I think it's still a serviceable movie without that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, between the review video I watched and like y'all talking about it, I mean, it doesn't sound bad. Like it's just it'd be tough for me to watch. So
If you don't like
Well,
old
understandable.
movies, you don't like old movies.
Yeah,
Each
we
their
knew
own.
this about you. So
yeah, like, y'all knew going into this like old movies are a little harder for me.
That's fair.
I like the flashy effects. Like now, if Michael Bay did a Terminator, I'm kidding. I won't
Oh,
get y'all
that'd be-
started
I was
on
waiting
Michael
for
Bay.
Brandon just to rage from the other room.
I know. I was like, I forgot he's the one who would have. So he's not here to. Right. Like
stay tuned for our Transformers episode where there's going to be tensions high because Brandon loves Transformers and hates Michael Bay.
And I kind of like Michael Bay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna back you up on this one.
Part of the reason I like Michael Bay, to be honest, because Brandon doesn't like him. Because it's kind of fun.
Feed off
Big
the hate.
plus.
Right? Like, dude, you know those Michael Bay Transformers movies? The Bayformers, apparently. I learned what they were called today. Not too bad. Not too bad to watch.
Anyway, that'll be coming in a few episodes. So, but that's just a little tease of what's going to happen, minus Brandon's outrage. But is there anything about Salvation you want to particularly note that you remember? I know you may not remember a whole lot of it.
To be honest, I really don't. Like, I thought it was interesting that Marcus was, not like full robot, that, he had a heart in him and that he was like, seemed to be part human.
He was human.
He was human?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I guess
He was on
Cyborg
death row. That was why he signed his body over for medical testing or whatever, because that...
So I don't remember any of that part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was all in
he
the
was-
beginning. So
the very beginning, he was in a prison cell, and he was, like, talking to this chick and ended up basically selling her his kidney, I think, for a kiss.
He had amnesia, right?
yeah, he was like,
didn't really know
I'll
what was
sign the
going
release
on.
form.
And
Yeah,
then he kissed her, and he was like, oh, so that's what death tastes like. I was like, ooh,
Spooky.
Creepy.
burn.
also, fun fact, didn't realize really until recently, the chick that played Bellatrix Lestrange, Helena Bonham Carter,
Yeah.
she was that scientist at the beginning
Well,
of
see, I
Salvation.
don't, see, I remember her in that, and I actually
I
like
noticed
her.
that
So.
immediately, and I was like, was Tim Burton in
Yeah, I was about to say, so this was a Tim Burton movie is what it really was. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
That
it
should
was
be
very odd because she looked very normal, and I was like, "This is nothing like I normally see Helena Bonham Carter."
Yep.
that should be.
It's
the
because Johnny
Salvation.
Depp wasn't in it with
That's
it.
true.
That's why.
Yeah, if he was John Connor,
That should be,
Right.
that should be who directs the Salvation remake.
it's Tim
Tim
Burton.
Burton. It's just all a musical.
I'd hands down probably
Terminator
watch
musical.
that. I'd watch that Terminator movie.
That'd
Tim
be very
Burton's
funny.
a weird one, but he can sell a lot of different kinds of movies.
That'd be
That's
funny.
true.
That'd be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how diverse he is with how distinct he is. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Like, you
such
can
a
tell.
strange combination. You
True.
can always tell that it's
It's
him,
yeah.
but it's not always the same.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Tim Burton Terminator. That'd be interesting. A
Interesting,
claymation Terminator.
I'm good. Good on that one. I think the closest we'll ever see is the Robot Chicken, where they did Terminator and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They put Arnold Schwarzenegger's head on a baby, and he was a Terminator because it was like I think it was like Baby John Connor or Baby Sarah Connor. It was one of them. And so they sent in Arnold Schwarzenegger as a baby, and so he comes in wearing a diaper, and he's like just like
Just
making.
like a death, like daycare kind of
like, and then like it turned out the puppy was the good Terminator that was sent back in time, so they were in this eternal struggle, and it was like it was bonkers. It's Robot Chicken, so you know how it
I mean,
is.
crazy, of course.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Tim Burton Terminator. Just every movie is Tim Burton. Just
Everything is everything is Tim Burton. Always has been.
We're all paying attention to the tech companies taking over the world when Tim Burton's doing it just like behind the scenes.
it's true. Really, I'm just waiting for the Avatar and Terminator crossover.
Ooh.
Yeah, since James Cameron loves both. Like,
That'd be weird.
and then the after credit scene, there's a xenomorph.
Oh, geez, just to top it all off. It's not even a xenomorph. It's like one of those protomorphs that they keep talking about.
So
and
then
you
he-
leave the neomorph alone.
Yeah,
like, then he's mixing more franchises I don't like into the mix.
I was just like,
Alien. I could deal with Alien.
I'm just like imagining like, could you imagine being a director of like so many blockbuster franchises, and then your final project is you just mixing them all together? Like,
He's over here. He's like, wait, the MCU, like they got to mix all those together. I can do that. Like this is what he's been
Interesting.
at the bottom of the ocean for 20 years thinking about is like mixing all of his franchises.
the Cameron verse.
Like no, James, please stop. No.
You can't stop me.
The
Did he do Predator?
No.
Oh, okay.
The Titanic is also in it.
Oh, he did do
They're
that
all
too,
on the
didn't he?
Titanic. They're all on the Titanic.
That's where they fight is on the ship. There
yeah.
really wasn't an iceberg. It
The
was
Terminator,
really
Terminator comes back and he's like, I have to stop the Titanic from sinking.
at the very end when the Titanic sinks. Like we see that it's the government saying we have to say this was an iceberg. Like
It
we
was
have
actually
no choice.
It was actually a xenomorph dying and just like the acid
Literally,
blood.
like the xenomorph would like ripped a hole in the hull or something on accident, or the Terminator had blasted a hole, and the ship is sinking. Like people are trying to get to lifeboats, but the aliens like ripping people apart. And
Terminator's running his way over to the fucking lifeboat so he doesn't die.
Water bad, water bad, water bad.
He jumps in the lifeboat, sinks anyway.
How could I have not seen? How could I have seen this go wrong? Well, you're like 400 pounds. That might have been it. Like,
I think he was more than that.
probably.
Wasn't he
Yeah.
like 2 tons?
I wanted to say 800 pounds, but then I was like 800.
I
Like,
mean-
I'm not trying to make that joke.
I'd like to think that those lifeboats could hold that much, hopefully, but
Yeah.
I mean, that was a
Was
lot
set
of
in weight,
metal.
like-
And in order to have the strength he has, there's got to be a whole lot of mass involved there.
Let me tweet James Cameron. We'll find out.
Okay.
It weighs
do
200
that.
pounds. According to the making of the Terminator 1984, the Terminator
it's an
robot made for
advanced
the
lightweight metal.
Oh,
come on.
That was just the Terminator that they made for the movie weighed 200 pounds, but I don't know how much it weighs like
Lore-wise.
Like
canonically.
universe,
Yeah,
yeah.
canonically.
Yeah. No, I don't see 200 because first of all,
It's space metal, bro.
Space
Exactly.
metal.
what is this? Some kind of space mithril? Sorry. Other franchise.
So
Um,
So many lines blurring.
that's how you know it's good.
So what were we on about before we started going on in the Cameron
I think
verse?
we just wrapped the favorite movie
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
And then we started storyboarding Cameron verse.
I would watch the Cameron verse. I don't know about y'all.
No.
That would be such a dumpster fire.
I would fucking watch it. I would watch it burn.
I would
I
go
would wait
see
till it
it
came
just to
out
see how
on
bad it
streaming,
is.
but I'd watch
Who would
it.
be the Nick Fury of the Cameron verse?
Fuck.
Probably fucking Leonardo DiCaprio or some shit. Gotta take someone from the Titanic to matter.
Maybe. Maybe.
John Connor.
It's
No,
John
I'm trying to
Connor.
think.
I don't know what all he does. I don't.
No,
think
I know exactly who it'd be. Unfortunately, he's not alive anymore. But
Who would you have said?
it's Bill Paxton,
Bill Paxton?
because he was in Aliens and he was in. I think he was killed by a Terminator. So he'd be like the connective tissue because he's been in all these franchises.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
He died in 2017.
I
Yeah.
have to look
Yeah.
him up. I don't know who that is.
Bill Paxton? You don't know who that man is?
Yeah,
He was
so-
also on
Paxton?
Titanic. He was
was
on
in
literally everything. He was
he
in
was
I
in
have not seen
Terminator.
Titanic.
Yeah, he was in
He was in
Twister.
Titanic. He's the connective tissue.
Yeah, there we
Bill
go.
Paxton would be
Yes.
there.
There we go. We found him. We need
See,
to
I
bring
don't
him back.
recognize this guy actually.
He was in Twister, Titanic,
Didn't see
Aliens,
it, didn't see it,
Apollo
didn't see it,
13.
Didn't see it.
What about Big Love?
What was that?
It's
These-
an HBO
these-
show about polygamous Mormons.
These are
Did not
all
see it.
these are all old movies, so I think they're out of your
he's from
feng
Fort
shui.
Worth.
Is he really, my man's?
Yeah.
He was in Edge of Tomorrow. What?
Born on
Okay,
May
I-
17th, 1955 in
I
I
Fort
don't
Worth.
think he
Texas.
probably wasn't a big part of it though.
No.
Is that the Live Die Repeat?
Yeah.
Didn't see that either.
Well,
That one I do want to see. I just
he's
haven't
in
seen it.
a lot of James Cameron movies.
I'm
so
starting to
we're
realize
gonna
I'm
say
not the movie buff I act like I am because there's a lot of
Say
movies I have
Twister
not
and
seen.
Apollo 13.
yeah.
He was in Twister and Apollo 13.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I was just looking at some of his
Yep,
stuff.
We
here.
found our connective tissue.
That drew it all together, and just like that, the Cameronverse became a reality.
Are they gonna dig them up and
Be sure to
still
let
use
him
them or what?
I'm just saying it like in this circle.
Oh, okay.
like,
I was
like
like,
it became a
ooh.
lot more possible once we found this one person who's been in a bunch of his movies. Like,
We just need
I'm
to
gonna
wait
need to destroy
until,
this group then, like bury this.
We just need to wait until Skynet takes over and then hop in. And instead of them sending a Terminator back, we need to go back to get Bill Paxton so that we can make this happen.
we need to recruit you to recruit other people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be y'all's Terminator. Like, I'm gonna be the one trying to stop y'all and put y'all down.
Why are you killing our fun here, man?
Let the Cameron verse happen.
We're trying to
Okay.
save the world through the power of James Cameron.
I will never let James Cameron do this.
Well, we're trying to make the Cameron verse. And if we save the world too, that's cool. That's a bonus.
That's true. Yeah, we're just trying to make this Cameronverse thing a reality.
Exactly.
Y'all are
Honestly-
creating y'all's own like enemy here. I hope y'all
So
realize.
we're Skynet?
Oh fuck!
Ba-
Ba-da-dum.
Can I be honest?
I
What?
don't know. Can you?
Creating like a cohesive universe between directors would be so interesting. Like, well, that's besides the point. But that's just. I just really like the idea and the absurdity of it. But yeah. So now that we've wrapped up the favorite movies, and then had a conversation about the Cameronverse has now become reality, and then our new arch nemesis that we created ourselves, Derek, is so it pretty much just wrote itself.
Pretty much.
Yeah, don't create
Pretty
any more
much.
universes, please.
There should be a shirt
based on directors. We've already got a couple. We don't need any more.
There should be a
It's
shirt.
just- yeah.
There should be a shirt of like James Cameron. He's like standing in front of like all the things. It's like that, like big Avatar, like freaking aliens and like an actual alien, and like a big Titanic in the back. Like
Oh,
Terminator.
dude, I'll make a Cameraverse shirt like that. Like,
Cameron version. And then like the background's like a big twister. That'd be cool.
but he didn't do Twister.
Oh no, he didn't do this. I was still thinking of Paxton.
Yeah. So now that we finished up the favorite movies, we'll go on to another segment. If you're, haven't really been keeping up with season 2 since this is only the second episode of it, we changed things. So now there's an audience question segment. So we wanted to bring all of you guys kind of into this a little bit. So we asked for questions from people like you. So if you haven't already, go and follow us on social media. We usually post a couple of days before we record for any kind of questions. So go ask any questions that you want us to answer, as long as they're not, super heavy questions or super any kind of other questions. We'll definitely answer them on the air.
So what he's saying is this segment was made possible by viewers like you.
Thank you.
Sounds
And
super
go and
corny.
ask super bad and inappropriate questions, please.
How are you really feeling?
How do you feel about the current state of the world? Well, I don't know what that has to do with Pokemon, but
But let's see if we can tie it together. Make a cohesive thought. Probably not, but we'll try.
but yeah, so keep a lookout for those kind of posts. So we got 3 questions this time. First one is, how do you feel about, like, a big divisive thing, I think, for Dark Fate was the fact that we just had a different AI that wasn't Skynet. That was the big bad. So how do you guys kind of feel? I know you guys didn't really see Dark Fate, but how do you guys feel about the reboot, update, whatever,
basically like
having
a different AI than Skynet?
I thought it was really bold of them to first off kill John Connor, like we've kept saying, but then that like fills the gap of like what fills the void of Skynet. So, in my opinion, I thought it was really cool. I thought the way that Legion was making its like new robots was made it seem scarier than Skynet, because if you haven't seen Dark Fate, they also have like these like floaty drones that like chase them down, and then like in the beginning of the movie, before they send like the time traveling lady to basically correct what was wrong, it's like these like death robots that are just flying around. So I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a lot scarier than Skynet, because Skynet was like big and clunky with the T-800s, but Legion was like, why don't we just like combine the liquid one and the metal one and put them together and then make them have a personality? Because the Terminator in that movie had like a personality kind of like the police officer one in T2. So I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was scary.
So are these floaty drones kind of like in, was it The Matrix, I think, when they had the floating machines that would go through and search for people? And
That was Halo.
well, that
No,
but, you know.
it's more of like the drones we know today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, like a
Yeah.
hovercopter type drone.
Weren't they like spheres that like floated around?
That's a good question.
What the heck were they? Hold on,
Once
because I
again,
knew
sounds
those
like
things
Halo.
were a thing, but I forget how they looked like.
I'm remembering them like they're similar to regular ones.
Yeah, and then they also had the
Uh,
fucking. They also had like the liquid T-800, like the liquid Terminators.
So they're kind of like stealth bomber kind of looks.
Yeah.
Just your typical like futuristic drone looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everything you can think of that they always put for the future, like no bladed travel, where there's like just like the
You're just kind of hovering.
those fans that don't have blades but they still blow like that. So it's not like anything like it is kind of like Halo, like the Halo like Pelicans.
Not the Sentinels.
Yeah.
I was thinking like a little orbital.
Anything in freaking Halo. Let's forget it.
Well, pretty much is using the product of our time to
Yeah. Yeah.
just like
So-
more armored like versions.
Kind of like the Bell V280 and the one that like it can take off vertically like a helicopter, but then it can also like change
Yeah.
the direction
Yeah.
of its
Yeah.
motors.
Yeah. Except this
You
one
go.
doesn't change. It just floats. It just hovers.
So it's
Interesting.
magic.
It's magic. It's a bunch of robots.
Yeah,
space
it's a lot
age
like
magic.
that, but just an unmanned, like futuristic version of it. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I think about Legion. I think it's a lot scarier than Skynet.
Jeffrey, I know you may not have as much to since you haven't seen Dark Fate.
I mean, I kind of think I already touched on this a bit when we were talking about it before, but I'm okay with it with the understanding that they killed John Connor and that was such a huge effect that there or a huge event that there was a ripple effect that caused some other thing to happen that changed the course of how everything played out. That just, I mean, the butterfly effect basically is how I see that. If they had just come in and said, no, we don't like the way that went, so now we're changing the AI because we're changing the storyline, then I'd be like, no, that's lazy, that's stupid,
Yeah.
just don't. But with that big of a change to the core story, yeah, there's almost no limit to the things that could potentially change in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I might change my mind after I see the movie. I don't know. But
Okay.
So for me, just based off of everything I've kind of heard and learned, there's only one way it would make sense to me, like, because you think, like, it's like, okay, so the T-800 was sent back to kill John Connor so that Skynet could continue on so that they're not stopped. So it's like, with him being dead, theoretically Skynet should still be the one that's in power, the one that's there. And, like, even at that point, why are they sending sending new Terminators? Well, I guess they wouldn't because this is supposed to be a new one. The only thing I can think of is that, like, this new AI that's there was originally created by the humans to fight Skynet at that point, and then it ended up defeating Skynet and taking, like, again, like it's an AI. It starts thinking for itself.
So in T2, they stop Skynet.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
So that defeats the purpose of the rest of the franchise.
so
doesn't it?
yeah. So in the rest of the
You think?
franchise,
No, they should have stopped it too. I said it. I'm done.
in the rest of the franchise, they say that Skynet was delayed.
So the way that they stopped Skynet was they killed the person who was the lead developer, I guess I wouldn't say manager.
So by
but
killing him, someone else comes along and just renames the same thing.
they killed him and they like blew up the lab where everything was, but there were still a lot of people who were working on the project.
Yeah, so
like
someone else.
somebody at least had enough knowledge that they could piece together where it was headed and kind of how it was going. So there may have only been
So for me,
5 to
unless
10
that's
people
actually
who had that
explained,
knowledge,
it doesn't
but-
make sense. But when you think of it like that, then yeah, like someone else
Yeah.
creates something different, doesn't
Yeah.
call it Skynet, calls it something else.
Yeah.
They have slightly different robots that they've created, and
Yeah.
and
so okay, it would make sense then. I
And
didn't
with
know
that
was
one,
a thing.
within going from T2 to T3, I'm assuming that since it would be people within the same company, they kept the same name and just kept going. Whereas the way that I'm okay with my understanding of Dark Fate is basically that setback caused them so much more trouble, or John Connor never bumped into somebody that caused some interaction or whatever. So another company came up and had a similar idea or was already working on a similar idea, and they just released it first. So
I mean,
I can
that
see
makes sense to me then.
it could be reasonable.
I will say the one thing that Terminator seems to like sound kind of interesting, and it's only if they continue on, which I don't really know how Dark Fates goes, but the idea of a franchise where like after the first movie or like maybe 2 movies, it splits into two lines in the same franchise sounds kind of cool. Like 2 alternate realities that you get to see like multiple movies in both. I think it's kind of cool. But I mean, that's the only, I could see that making sense then about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they had stopped it or delayed it or whatever happened in T2. Again, I didn't really watch these movies, so just going based off of what I've picked up today.
Yeah. My biggest gripe with Legion is that they didn't really explain what was going on or how it came to be. So that's why we have to like piece it together
Kind
around
of have to
ourselves.
infer something.
Basically, yeah. That's my only biggest gripe with Legion. Other than that,
Interpretation.
it's spooky.
So again, without having seen that movie, typically my thoughts are a little bit on the opposite side of that situation where you over explain or under explain.
Yeah.
I would rather that you give me information that I can piece together to make a logical thought. Now, if you don't give me any of the information that I need to make that, then it's stupid and irritating and frustrating. But if you're like over explaining stuff where they're like, oh my gosh, that is a receiver, so where's the transmitter? I'm like, yeah, we know those are the two ends of that device. Like, you don't have to
You have to hold my
way
hand.
overdo that. If I wanted to know, I could look it up. That's what Google's for. So I don't know. I hate when they over-explain in movies.
I get
So-
you. Kind of like in Salvation when they kept talking about his heart.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, honestly, I didn't like Legion. It's not because it wasn't cool. It had some really cool stuff, but they didn't do enough to make it different than Skynet.
Mm-hmm.
It had a very similar goal: stop someone who tries to fight them in a resistance. And so they sent a Terminator back, and it's like it just seems like it's just a carbon copy of Skynet. So I would have loved to see them kind of differentiate that a little bit more. They may have been planning it in the future. I don't think it's going to sequel, but yeah.
What if
Yeah.
that was the whole point? Was that it's inevitable? No
I
matter
mean,
what happens,
that-
there's always going to be like this, basically the same AI come along and the
That
same.
was my
fight.
exact
Yeah.
thought, which is why I was okay with it being like another company made the exact same thing. They may have done it a week later than Skynet originally did, or a month later, or whatever, but the
Like
exact
Jurassic Park
same
and Jurassic
thing
World.
happened at some point from a different person or company or whatever, because it's going to happen. Like, that's human nature, or whatever you want to call it, fate.
Yeah.
Just- which plays into the name Dark Fate, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, that's entirely possible. That's just not what I wanted to see.
So it's
Yeah.
human nature, you know. Life
Fair enough.
finds
Yeah.
a way, Tyler.
I totally understand where you guys are coming from. Me personally, I would have, if you're going to do a new AI, it needs to be doing something different. But so the next question
So-
is,
Do you have an idea for what they could have done differently? Like, because if that AI came up and, did something similar to launch missiles and try to attack mankind, then it seems like either they just crush mankind or there's a resistance that they're fighting, and kind of falls into that same loop.
Let's answer it with a meme. Aliens. Boom.
no,
I hate that you said that, and I immediately saw the meme in my head.
Yeah.
no. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it that way. But I just,
Not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just interested.
I don't know. It's killing. Like, the big change that they tried to do was, instead of killing the mother of the savior, it was the savior instead. So they did it where it was like the woman that they're going back to kill isn't going to give birth to the savior. She is the one that leads a resistance.
Yeah, the goal is
Okay.
very different.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, the goal is very the same. Like, it's the same family.
It just seemed kind of cheap instead of establishing like what this new AI, because we got so many different like cool new things that they can do, but it's like everything is exactly the same as way as Skynet. And so it's like, but like, okay, what kind of like, what are you trying to do out there? Like, you're just trying to kill this resistance leader? Like, why don't you go out and do something that's a little bit different? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't have any thoughts on it right now of how they could have done it differently. I just know that I would have appreciated if they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I guess the other thing is, you said it was almost immediately after T2, right?
The beginning is yes.
Okay. And is that when John Connor dies?
Yes.
Okay. So that would mean that affected Sarah Connor's life in a very significant way, because somewhere between T2 and T3, she dies, and the day after she died was the day that John Connor left town or whatever, because he had never seen her grave, which they go over in T3. So I guess they never mind. That's like a half-formed thought that I don't think is gonna really work itself out until I see Dark Fate.
We run into time
Yeah.
travel again.
Yeah.
So, just final question: which is your favorite Terminator that we've seen so far?
Definitely the one from Dark Fate. That was really
the
cool.
Rev 9 was really cool.
That
Yeah.
was so freaking cool.
So not having had seen that, going by the Terminator form and cool factor, or
What's your
I mean,
favorite?
I
Whatever,
love-
whatever, man.
constitutes
Whatever you
the
want
favorite for
to
you,
define
man.
it as.
So I really like Arnie. Like,
Yeah.
just as a person, as an actor, his character, like it a lot. But the Terminator from T3, the chick, she was badass. Like the fact that she could control electronics by just like shooting the little microbes or whatever from her finger, ridiculous. I don't know how she wasn't a bigger problem than she was. I feel like she should have been able to take over the whole
in today's
world.
world, she definitely would have. Like,
So
Taking over people's pacemakers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
okay.
I mean, she did take over Arnie for a while.
yeah, that's true.
For me, it's gonna be Marcus Wright, the only one that I know, if you count him. I mean, again, I don't have a lot to compare him to, but I kind of liked his whole thing, like the Terminator. You know, the rest of them was full on robots. He was, you know, human. So, you know, we got to see that human side. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can speak on that. I thought it was cool. Had some good action scenes to fight in it. I really liked that. And seeing like, I mean, Arnie's obviously is humanoid and like very kind of human movement wise, like a little bit, like more so than the scenes I saw of the female one who looked very like she twisted her body all the way around pretty much like the top half of her body all the way around.
At one point, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say that was a normal thing. I think that only happened like once or maybe twice.
Okay. Again, like I don't have a whole lot I can compare
Right.
to. But in the one that I saw, it comes down to Arnold's versus Sam Worthington's. I preferred Sam Worthington's.
Okay.
But I guess could be cheating because, you know, it has that human aspect to it versus being a
That's true.
full-fledged
I mean,
Terminator.
The difference between being a human who was enhanced and being a machine that got,
That kind of copies humans.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, they're all pretty awesome. Like,
They are.
I love the Rev 9, partly because I really enjoyed the actor, partly because it came out in 2019, so it was, the effects were way cooler. But I mean, seeing the T-800's body not really decompose, but like deconstruct throughout Terminator 1 was awesome. Like the way that was done, especially back in 1984, looked awesome. The T-1000 was groundbreaking, and the way they did the liquid metal, it looked so cool, and you had never seen like anything like that before, and it just seems so deadly. So it's hard to choose them. Like I'd probably say the Rev 9 just because it looks the coolest and like it did the most, but that's also because it's the most modern one.
Exactly.
So
it's like
you
the
know,
most advanced
CGI
one.
stuff's different, but like they all had really cool like pros. So yeah.
Yeah, especially like the liquid metal one in like comparison to the Rev 9, when like the T-1000 makes like the swords and it's like very metallic, but it looks kind of like plasticky. The scene where he goes to like the border patrol and they like all start dogpiling on him. He starts like
sticking the
shooting on
spikes, yeah.
exactly. That just completely blows it out the water. It's just like seeing all like, I forget what type of metal does that. Like that metal mixture where like you put it on a magnet and like it starts making like spikes out of it, like ferrofluid or
When you
something
put
like
it
that.
on the
Are
speakers.
those what those are called?
You put it on
Ferrofluids, I
speakers,
think.
it starts doing it.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
no.
it'll eat magnets. It'll like
Yeah.
around
I
them.
think it's called ferrofluid, but that's what it looks like, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, they react to magnetic fields.
Yeah. So I think that's what, like, comparing to like, because I feel like the T-1000 looks like it's made out of like mercury whenever it like passes through things, but then the Rev 9 is made out of like ferrofluids, which I think is pretty cool. Because like, I don't know, I thought that one was the coolest out of all of them.
Science, bitch.
Yeah, science. I thought that one was the coolest out of all of them.
Cool. Yeah, so that is the audience portion. So make sure you're going to our social media and you're leaving comments. We'll talk about them. We'd really love to get more participation from you guys. So next up is going to be another new section, which is the trivia section. So we just go. Jay Fred's our trivia master, so he's going to ask us some questions. We're hopefully going to know the answer. May not. So,
Our TM.
feel free to play along for sure. But yeah, so Jay Fred's going to take it away.
All right. So also Tyler and I were talking about this earlier, and I think we're going to have everybody read off their answers after we're done with the question or ready to answer, because otherwise our listeners don't know what everybody's answers were.
They don't know that I'm a dumbass when it comes to this.
So if you were wondering about that last episode, we apologize. We've learned. We're doing better now.
Yeah. Maybe not a lot better, but better.
Steps in the right direction.
Exactly.
Progression.
Not perfection.
Okay, so we'll start off with the first Terminator. How many Sarah Connors were killed before the Terminator finds the one he's searching for?
Ooh.
Can I get a hint, please?
It is a single-digit number.
That was actually the hint I was going to ask for. Like, is it single, double? Like, okay.
More than one, but less than 100.
Well,
That's just how I would do
Yeah.
it. Like,
I say got a 1 in 10 chance here. And I assume it's probably not 0, so 1 in 9 chance.
all right.
That's fair.
Me first.
Sure.
I can't remember correctly, but I think it was 4 Sarahs.
You think 4.
I said 2.
You think 2.
I said 6.
It is 2.
Yes. Dang it, dude.
I was thinking it was the third Sarah Connor. I put 3 initially. I was like, don't do it. Like, that's not how it's supposed to go.
I thought it'd be a little bit more of a common name than that, but okay.
Actually, yeah, surprisingly, it did not. Like, he just went through the phone book and he's like, killed 2 of them. Got to the third one.
Like, I'm expecting to see like a
There we
list
go.
with like 20 names crossed off. That's all just
like,
Sarah Connor
God
cross, Sarah
fucking
Connor
damn.
cross.
Apparently not.
Where was the first Terminator set in? It was. I don't know. Unless it's a question. Never mind.
It's not.
Okay. Was it California or Florida, or was it none of the two?
I was literally gonna say Florida.
Because it feels like California, doesn't it?
Bad things always happen in Florida.
Really? Because I thought it was, like, New
Well,
York City.
California
I was
too,
thinking
actually.
it was New York.
That
but
does. It doesn't.
It
feel
doesn't
like was
look
New
like
York.
New York though, but
Here,
Los Angeles.
Los
yeah, I
Angeles.
was
there we
saying,
go.
it
Okay,
looked kind of
cool.
like a Cali or
It's just-
Florida.
It's like how many fucking Sarah Connors are there in L.A.
LA was a very different place back then, apparently.
Yeah.
All
Especially
right.
in the 80s.
Q2.
What else you got for us?
All right. Where does Reese find pants to wear in Terminator 1? I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's the 80s.
So we're all 1 for 2.
Let's see.
Nobody knows it? I'll skip that question if you guys...
I
Let's
was
go-
just going to throw a random fucking
Yeah,
place
let's
in
go
there.
for it.
Yeah, we'll just throw guesses.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's not like every question's impossible for
Alright,
all of
so
us.
it's the 80s. So this might be a good guess.
All right.
Me
You
first?
Good? Yeah.
Well,
Macy's.
you think Macy's.
I put Barney's.
You think Barney's.
I put in the trunk of a car.
Actually, you were closest.
Fuck
He
off!
takes them from a bum.
Fuck off!
I was thinking department store.
I was like, at least
Fuck.
you didn't buy it. I was almost there.
Damn.
You were the closest.
I'll take it.
my reasoning
Honorable
was like,
mention here.
My reasoning was like it's the 80s. Macy's was still kind of big. Let's go Macy's.
That's fair. Didn't work out for you.
Fuck.
Q3.
Yeah, so this next one I'm not going to ask because it was the numbers written on the first Sarah's home. I don't think you
No,
guys are going to...
no.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I was like, so.
that's very abstract.
Oh, this one we've also discussed.
I'm have a shot.
Well, I know for sure he knows it, and I'm pretty
Oh.
sure he does too.
Yeah,
So,
never mind. Give me
yeah.
some more random guesses I can get close to.
Can't believe how close
Um,
you got to that one. You straight pulled it out
So-
your ass.
I don't know if this was in that prep video or not. The first Terminator begins with Sarah preparing for something. What did Sarah intend to do that night?
The first Terminator?
Mhm.
I feel like this is one that you could kind of just randomly guess that a person might be doing.
Cook
Yeah,
a turkey.
maybe. What?
Is
I'm
that
kidding.
your-
That's not my guess.
What'd you say?
I said cook a turkey.
It was Thanksgiving night. Like, they might have been getting
I
ready.
can't remember these minute things.
Throw some stuff in a little, crock pot. Be good to go. All
Right.
right, I think we're ready.
She was preparing to go to work.
You think she was going to work?
I put have sex.
Oh my god.
You think she was going to have sex?
I put going to work.
Just go on a date.
Oh, I'm
Ah,
all wrong.
you got
In a way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ladies, you know what a day with Tyler Birch looks like now.
Late.
No need to go somewhere fancy.
Ladies.
we all know where this is going to end up.
God, you
It's
guys are
not like that.
you guys-
That's what I heard.
Again, we don't have a camera, but he turned beet red.
Anyway.
Anyways,
Q4.
He's like, moving on.
All right. Why was it so easy to spot the 600 series of Terminator?
The 600 was the first one in this.
yeah, because
They
Arnie,
talk about it in the first movie.
because Arnie was T800,
Mm-hmm.
right? T600.
Which are the ones that they were like, those are harder
Was
to
that the
spot.
dog Terminator?
Huh?
Was that the dog Terminator? Oh, wait a minute. I know what it
Dog
is.
Terminator?
Okay. Come on,
I
man.
can't think of why. Let's say. Alright, there we go. They didn't have flesh on the exoskeleton. They were just exoskeleton.
You think they didn't
It
have
just looked like a
flesh.
robot.
Yeah.
That's what I put too. I put no flesh.
I put that it moved like very robotically.
They had rubber skin.
Ew, yucky. I mean, we were kind of correct. It didn't have
No.
flesh.
Wouldn't you only know that if you like touched them though?
No, apparently it looked very rubbery.
They look like a tire. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just looked
Yeah.
like a big walking
I
condom.
was like, so, okay.
You notice how it has no wrinkles or any kind of any kind of creases or anything.
How old are you? 65. Wow.
That's a
You don't look-
latex, bud.
You don't look a day out of the womb.
Also,
Latex.
in the Terminator, what do they use in the future to detect Terminators?
Oh.
I believe they would have mentioned this, but again, didn't watch the recap
That's something
video.
someone could guess.
I would think so.
That was gonna be a very bad guess, but
I was gonna say it's hard for me to.
that's what
say
I would
because-
use.
I think the answer makes perfect sense, but also I'm staring at the answer.
He's
so
like, also,
Fuck. I think it's
I,
this one.
I
yeah.
remember this. Yeah.
I think it might be this one. So it was. I said magnet to minds.
magnet mines.
Yeah, like in Salvation.
Dogs.
Dogs. Fuck.
a voltmeter.
It's dogs.
Fuck. It is
Oh, the
dogs.
dogs don't know robots.
Because they,
They
could
do.
tell. They could
They-
tell which ones were human and which ones
Yeah.
were Terminators.
Yeah.
I think James Cameron made that up.
I mean,
I mean, probably.
I mean, he
I mean, he
did.
definitely made that up.
You have
know
to
that
cite your
dogs
sources.
have you-
Have you seen
also-
some dogs? Okay, there ain't no way they
See-
can tell what's human and what's not.
See,
You
I
know
just
that
kind
dogs
of.
can also sense before people have seizures, right?
They can also sense earthquakes.
Supposedly.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
I'm not saying all dogs, but there is proof.
I mean,
that
there
they
are
can.
some dogs that
That's-
can do that. Yes, this is
Damn.
fair.
See, I used Salvation, and that's why I said magnet mines because they were
Right.
like walking.
Yeah, I see what you were going for, but
Yeah.
I remember the dogs barking.
Do you think
'cause
a
it was
they-
between
voltmeter
that or
would not
dogs?
work though?
If you could get to a place,
I could just shove it in their ear.
I feel like
They've
if they're
got electric
human, they'd
current
have
in
a
there,
baby
okay?
upset about that too.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like any person would be upset about that.
yeah. If you're using that to determine that they are a Terminator, that
You're
I think
already
you're-
dead. I mean,
yeah, your system is flawed.
Next one. Hit us with the next one, boss.
So this next one is tricky, and I'm going to tell you that it's not what you guys have been saying all night.
Uh-oh.
What model of Terminator did Arnie play?
Fuck.
So it wasn't a T800 then.
I don't think that is inaccurate, but it's not the specific thing that he says.
wait,
or
what?
I think Kyle says, if I remember correctly.
Come again? Like now I'm confused.
So T800, I believe, is like the series or family, but they say what the model is, and he says it, I think, on all three, T1, 2, and 3. I know he says it in 1 and 2.
Yep, this can be a guess.
Yep. Because it could be literally be from 800 to 900.
Or something totally different.
or something completely different. Fuck. You bitch.
All right, you got it.
Yeah, I think so. Let's say model 876.
I put the infiltrator model.
Fuck.
The T800 Series S.
Cyberdyne Systems Model 101.
What
Oh
the
my
fuck
fuck
is
is
that
that
fucking-
fucking? I hate you.
Yeah, this is the Trivia Master's fault. This isn't even the fucking movie. The recap
makes
video
sense,
did
but
not say that.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but I hate you for it.
It does make sense. All right, which question are we
I
on?
mean,
We're on
I've
seven.
had some
Six.
harder ones that I'm pretty
6.
sure you guys wouldn't get.
Didn't
But-
get the easy ones.
Well, okay, so this one, this one's actually
Who plays the
maybe
Terminator?
too easy. But early in the movie, the Terminator has Grace, Danny, and her brother pinned down on a freeway overpass. Sarah Connor arrives in a 4-wheel drive with an armory to disable temporarily the Terminator. When she blew the Terminator off the overpass, but still went after him, what did she say to Grace and Danny?
Yep.
It is an iconic statement.
got it. Is it the long "Come with me if you want to live"?
You think "Come with me if you want to live"?
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Fuck.
It is "I'll be back."
Fuck.
1 point. I'm beating one. Was this the first time? No, you've had 2 already, right? Was this
Two
your
what?
third one?
Third.
That's
Point?
his third.
Is it? Okay.
Have you gotten any?
No.
Nope.
I'm not in last place.
See, because I haven't
That's
got.
just what I'm competing for, not being last.
Damn. There's so many iconic fucking sayings in Terminator.
I think that was T2 and Arnold says it,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly from the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Booyah. Extra bonus
So
point.
I think
Should've watched
'cause I
the
think
fucking
Kyle
video.
says it in 1, and then Arnold says it in 2. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyle said it in 1. Like I saw that, yeah.
All right, time for question. Motherfucking
Number 8.
So it's 7.
7.
Or is it
That was 7. This is 8.
Okay.
That's why. The front and back of cards helps me keep track.
I'm all out of whack.
Okay. So, in the Terminator, why didn't Kyle or the Terminator take any weapons from the future?
Fuck, I don't know that one.
Fucking guess. No, on your guess is already wrong. I can read it. I'm kidding. Incorrect.
Because guns don't exist.
Because this is a kid-friendly movie, okay? It's because they were PG.
Water guns.
Super soakers.
All right, I said because nothing can pass through like the actual time, going back in time. That's why they all come naked.
Because nothing can pass through.
Other than like organic matter. That's why they all
I
come
don't see it
naked.
I
on the
mean,
card.
Terminator itself isn't really
Fuck,
organic,
that's
but
right.
Okay.
Shit.
I put only organic material can pass through.
I put that they wouldn't have a power source here for it.
So the quote from the movie is because nothing dead can travel through time, I will accept only organic matter. But
Fuck. Oh well.
Organic matter can be
Worded it wrong.
People
That's
die.
a weird way to say it. Only
That is
like
yeah,
weird.
dead
well,
things
that's what
can.
he says in the police department when he's being interviewed by the detectives and all that stuff.
So
Very-
wouldn't
very
his
80s.
metal insides be considered inorganic?
But it's covered in organic flesh.
Right.
Mhm.
So he
Covered in
is,
organic.
is apparently alive for that purpose. I
Gotcha.
don't understand.
Shit, that's right.
exactly
Fuck,
why,
that's a big ass
but-
fucking thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still
All
beating
right.
you.
Oh
so
well.
Question 9.
All right.
It's impossible for either of us to beat Tyler right now. So right now we're competing for last place one.
Pretty much, yeah. What type of dog alerts Reese and Sarah to the Terminator at the motel?
Will you accept a good boy?
A good boy.
Use that as your answer and find out.
Doesn't matter. You got nothing to lose right now. Everything's right. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Not dog. There we go.
Dog. What type of dog? A dog.
You know, the doggy dog.
I said a chihuahua.
I put German Shepherd.
Well, I originally I accidentally wrote yellow dog, but yellow lab. I'll write
It was a
lab.
German Shepherd.
Oh, well. Okay then. Should have thought of that one too.
Yeah. Come on, man.
What's
At
that
that
gonna
time, I was the only dog that existed.
Pretty much.
All right. Last question.
Wait, did you get it?
Mm-mm.
No, you said Chihuahua.
I said chihuahua.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That would have been
This,
funny.
this wasn't in Mexico.
I mean, it's L.A. It's close
I
enough.
know.
This isn't the comedy.
close
This isn't the comedy film that we made.
Right.
Okay, so here's another one that potentially I think should have been in the recap video, but I don't know.
Yeah.
In the Terminator, how does Sarah kill the Terminator?
And the Terminator.
The Terminator.
Oh no.
I just don't know if I'm going to get the
T1.
wording right. That's my only problem.
What? There's special wording for this?
So in the
I don't
first
know.
one.
This,
First one, right?
Correct.
Cool.
You know this, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to have a tiebreaker question for us because I'm gonna get this wrong.
I mean, you ain't gotta.
Okay.
Derek needs this.
See, the wording could be wrong on this one,
All
though.
right.
Because I know how it happened. So it was a pipe bomb explosion. It was like an explosion of... That's how they killed him.
So explosion.
Explosion. That's how they killed him in the first one.
I put that a machine press flattens it.
But that she fried his brain, like fries, like robot.
She crushed it in a hydraulic press.
Fuck.
right.
See, I was like, I don't
It's
remember
fucking me and
what
you
press
right now,
it is.
bro.
Like,
On the back of my movie pitch card,
And
here it
yeah,
goes.
I would accept machine press instead of hydraulic press. But
Fuck.
gotta
Yeah,
find
'cause
one that I think they're likely to know that,
that we have a shot at because we both suck at
that
this,
also
apparently.
is not way too easy, because this is one that asks for which of these phrases is used in
which-
both movies, and
name
there's only one that's
name 3 other movies Arnold Schwarzenegger's been in.
You sure about this one?
I mean,
Would that be one?
no.
'Kay.
'cause-
Nah, that's too
Never
easy.
mind.
yeah.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
actually, let's not, because I think I only got 2. If we're not talking Terminator movies.
I got 3, baby.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with this one. It's involving the first 2 movies. Which of these phrases is used in both of the movies? Hasta la vista. I'm back. There is no fate but what we make. No, these are
Those were all
3
3
separate
of them, okay.
fates so far, and there's one more. Come with me if you want to live.
Which one was used in how many?
In the
In
first
3?
2 movies.
In the first 2 movies?
Hope you don't doubt yourself, because I have the answer correct.
Nah. I put him back.
Incorrect. It is. Come with me if you want to live.
Correct.
Son of a bitch, dude.
We literally talked about this during this question round,
Oh, well.
Oh, did we?
because Tyler had said that Kyle says it in the first one and Terminator says it in the
You're
second
right,
one.
Yeah.
Wish I would have remembered that. I wouldn't
Observation
have asked that
skills
question.
became
I'm
very
glad
crucial.
you did.
I was too busy thinking of other Arnold Schwarzenegger
That's
movies that I
right.
would have wrote down.
Second place.
One is the ultimate loser.
I would have wrote down Total Recall, Commando, and Kindergarten, whatever the hell it was called. Kindergarten
Kindergarten
Cop.
Cop.
That is
Kindergarten
not the
Cop.
title. You lose.
I had Predator.
Kindergarten, whatever the hell it's
I
called.
had Predator and Kindergarten Cop. That's about it.
What about the
Twins?
Expendables?
Huh?
The Expendables?
Or twins.
I forgot he was in that one.
Hercules?
I don't know what twins is.
Conan the Barbarian?
The
Hercules.
one
Hercules,
with,
the original one.
Arnold
I didn't know it was
Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito are twins, and they realized that. when
It
they
sounds
were
like I've
adults,
actually
and
heard about that, but I've never seen
I'm
it.
sure you have.
It's very dumb.
It is dumb.
But
All right, who
But
wants to
it's
help
good
me
dumb.
off with my shoes now? That second place winner over here.
all right. So I hope you enjoyed that trivia. Yeah, that was interesting. Remember, everybody that won was the one that lost.
Yep. Ugh.
So that is our episode on Terminator. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a lot. I know that it's a convoluted mess, much like the franchise is. So, just to kind of wrap up here. So if you make sure that if you go to Apple Podcasts and you give Nerd of All Trades a 5-star review, we'll make sure to read your review aloud. If you want to, specifically notate someone that you want to say it, like Derek, and give you a little bit of his voice acting skills, go ahead and do that.
You're going to say that every episode. He's going to have the same
Absolutely, yeah.
reaction.
Eventually, someo's going to do it.
You do a Mickey Mouse impression one time, okay?
Hey, you're the one that wanted this.
I said I would do it for the show, Tyler.
Also, check us out on social media for all of our postings related to episodes. Things like releases, questions for the audience, just random things we ask about the episode. So all of our handles are in the show notes, but just to recap them, Facebook is Nerd of All Trades Podcast, Twitter is @NOAT Podcast, and our Instagram is nerd.ofalltrades. So if you love this podcast, you want to get more content from us and be involved in the community, check us out on Patreon. We have a lot of great tiers there for anything from $1 up to $30 a month, depending on what you can contribute. Every little bit helps, just makes us bigger and better. If you want the best bang for your buck for Nerd of All Trades, check out our $15 tier. That's where we have exclusive movie commentaries, Patreon exclusive episodes, and free merch opportunities. So if you are $15 tier or above, you do get our seasonal poster that comes out every couple months for free. So that's a good benefit right there. And you'll get discount on any other merch we come up with, because once we hit 20 patrons, we will be starting to talk about merch, things like shirts, hats, beer koozies, who knows what. So definitely be able to check that out. We've got some new patrons since last time, so shout out to Andrew Pinkney and Tracy Guess for becoming our new patrons. We really appreciate your support. You're going a long way towards making us better. Also, shout out to Crystal. She went up from $5 to $30, so it's a big increase, and we really appreciate that, and I hope you enjoy all the rewards that comes with it. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this episode on Terminator. Make sure to give us a follow on social media, and we'll see you next week for our episode on horror movies. So be on the lookout for our posts so that you can ask any kind of questions you have for the crew. I'm your host, Tyler Birch, signing off.
I'm the newbie Juan signing off.
This is J. Fred, the engineer, signing off.
This is Derek. I'm going home.